You have ruined my briefcase. Do you understand how much this costs?
We apologize for the incident, ma'am. We'll compensate you.
Ma'am, I already told you, we're busy, the flight attendant said, loud enough for first class to hear. Every head turned toward the black woman in seat 3A. Her name was Elise Monroe, and her coffee had spilled across her laptop bag after the crew ignored a broken tray table for 20 minutes. She held up the soaked leather case calmly. "This contains company hardware," she said. The attendant rolled her eyes. "Then maybe you should have kept it off the tray." A man nearby whispered, "That was cold." Elise looked up slowly. "Like and subscribe to EchoStory if dignity matters." Elise did not raise her voice. That made the moment feel heavier. Her hands were steady, but her eyes carried the kind of disappointment that comes after being ignored too many times. The cabin was polished, quiet, expensive. The kind of space where people expected soft service and immediate apologies. But for Elise, every request had been treated like an inconvenience. First the broken tray, then the spilled coffee, then the damaged bag. Now the crew acted like she was the problem. She took a breath and said, "I need to speak with the lead." The flight lead arrived with a smile that looked professional from far away and insulting up close. His name tag read Martin. He glanced at the wet bag, then at Elise. "What seems to be the issue?" Elise explained carefully, word by word, never exaggerating, never performing anger. Martin listened for less than 10 seconds before interrupting. "Ma'am, spills happen during travel." Elise's eyes narrowed slightly. "It spilled because your tray table collapsed after I reported it twice." A few passengers looked down at the tray. It was still crooked, still loose, still obvious. Martin crouched halfway, not with concern, but with control. "We can file a note after landing," he said. "For now, please lower your tone." Elise looked around. "My tone is lower than yours." Silence hit the aisle. A woman in 2C stopped sipping her drink. Someone in economy leaned forward to see. Martin's smile disappeared. "You're creating discomfort for other guests." Elise looked directly into his eyes. "No, I'm asking to be treated like one." The words floated through the cabin, soft but sharp, and no one was ready for what came next. A younger crew member stepped forward with napkins, but Martin lifted a hand to stop her. "We'll handle it later," he said. Elise noticed the younger woman's face fall, like she knew this was wrong but didn't have permission to care. Elise opened the bag and pulled out a small encrypted device, dripping at the edge. Her expression changed for the first time. Not panic, calculation. Martin crossed his arms. "Is there a problem?" Elise gently wiped the device. "There might be," she said, "but not the kind you think." Whispers began traveling through first class. "Who is she? Why won't they help her?" "That bag looks expensive." Martin heard the whispers and decided to tighten control. "Ma'am, if you continue escalating this, we may have to document your behavior." Elise looked up. "Please do," he blinked. That was not the reaction he expected. She placed the damaged device on a dry cloth. "Document the broken tray. Document the ignored complaints. Document the spilled coffee. And document your refusal to assist." The cabin went quiet because calm truth has a way of sounding louder than anger. Martin leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You should be careful how you speak to crew." Elise met his gaze without moving. "And you should be careful who you dismiss." A man across the aisle whispered, "Is she threatening him?" Elise heard it but did not look away. "That is not a threat," she said calmly. "That is advice." Martin stood straight, embarrassed. "I'm going to ask you to remain seated and stop disturbing premium service." Elise looked at the soaked bag, then back at him. Premium service ended the moment respect did. The plane had not taken off yet, but the doors were closed, and the cabin felt trapped inside its own tension. Elise pulled out her phone. Martin pointed at it. "No recording." Elise said, "I'm not recording." Her thumb moved across the screen with quiet precision. She opened a secure messaging app and typed only 3 words. "Activate travel review." Somewhere far beyond that aircraft, in a glass tower downtown, a notification lit up across multiple executive screens. But inside the cabin, Martin still believed he was dealing with one inconvenient passenger. The captain stepped out after hearing about the delay. Martin spoke first, fast and polished. Passenger is upset about a spill and refusing to settle down. Elise looked at the captain and raised the damaged device. This was affected after your crew ignored a reported equipment issue. The captain glanced at Martin. Was the tray table reported? The younger crew member opened her mouth, then stopped. Elise saw the fear on her face. Martin answered, "There may have been a minor mention." Elise nodded once. A minor mention that became major damage. Then Elise's phone rang. The screen showed one name, Victor Hale, Chief Operating Officer. Martin glanced at it and smirked. "Business call can wait." Elise answered anyway and put it on speaker. Victor's voice came through calm and urgent. "Elise, we received the travel review alert. Is company hardware compromised?" The captain's face changed at the word company. Elise replied, "Possibly. Cabin crew ignored a safety and service issue." Martin frowned. "Who exactly are you?" Elise paused, then said, "The person whose company your airline depends on more than you know." Victor's voice sharpened. "Elise, do they know who you are?" She looked at Martin. "No," Victor exhaled, then informed them. Elise did not move for a moment. She hated this part. She had built her life proving rooms wrong without announcing titles. But sometimes silence protects the wrong people. She looked at the captain and said, "My name is Elise Monroe. I'm founder and CEO of Monroe Quantum Systems." The captain's shoulders stiffened. Martin's face went blank. The passenger whispered, "Wait, that Monroe?" And suddenly the cabin had a new kind of silence. Monroe Quantum Systems powered half the airline's cybersecurity routing, executive booking infrastructure, and logistics protection software. But Elise did not say that. She didn't need to. The captain already knew enough. Victor continued on speaker. "Elise, we are freezing all airline support channels until damage assessment is complete." Martin stepped back. "Freezing what?" The captain turned pale. His phone buzzed. Then another crew phone buzzed. Then the gate supervisor knocked urgently on the aircraft door from outside. The aircraft had not moved, but the entire balance of power had shifted. The gate door reopened, and two airline executives stepped inside, breathing like they had run through the terminal. One looked directly at Elise. "Ms. Monroe, we apologize for the inconvenience." Elise's eyes stayed calm. "Inconvenience is missing a meaning. This is negligence wrapped in disrespect." The words struck harder because she did not shout them. Martin stared at the floor. The younger crew member finally whispered, "She did report the tray twice. Every passenger heard it." The executive slowly turned toward Martin. "Is that true?" Martin said nothing, and his silence answered for him. Victor spoke again. "Effective immediately, Monroe Quantum is suspending all active business contracts with the airline pending internal review." A passenger gasped. Someone whispered, "That's millions." Another whispered, "Maybe more." Martin's face drained of color. The captain closed his eyes for half a second, realizing the flight was no longer delayed by a passenger complaint. It was grounded by the consequences of ignoring one. Elise placed the damaged device back on the cloth and said quietly, "This could have been solved with one apology and one working tray table." The executive turned toward first class. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing an operational delay." Elise looked at him. "No, tell them the truth." The cabin froze. The executive swallowed. "This aircraft is delayed because a passenger's valid complaint was not handled properly." Martin flinched. Passengers looked from him to Elise with new understanding. The woman in 2C whispered, "She stayed so calm." Elise heard it and looked away. Calm was not comfort. Calm was discipline. Calm was what she used when the world tried to pull anger out of her and call it proof. Martin was instructed to apologize in the same aisle where he had dismissed her. He stood stiffly, hands clasped, eyes avoiding hers. "Ms. Monroe, I apologize for how your concern was handled." Elise waited. The pause made everyone uncomfortable. Then she said, "You apologized to my title. Now apologize to the woman you ignored before you knew it." The cabin went completely silent. Martin looked up at her for the first time, not as a difficult passenger, not as a contract threat, but as a person. His voice softened. "Elise, I'm sorry." Elise nodded, but she did not smile. "Thank you." The younger crew member returned with a proper damage bag, towels, and a quiet apology of her own. Elise accepted the help kindly. That kindness confused some people. They expected revenge. They expected a scene. But Elise knew power was not a weapon to swing at everyone nearby. It was a responsibility to make sure the next person without a title would not be ignored. She looked at the young crew member and said, "Next time, speak when you know something is wrong." The flight remained grounded while executives negotiated with Monroe Quantum's legal and security teams. Passengers began speaking softly, not about delays anymore, but about what they had witnessed. A man in 1D admitted, "I thought she was overreacting." His wife replied, "That's because you weren't the one being ignored." Elise stared out the window at the runway lights. She had meetings waiting, contracts waiting, an empire waiting. Yet the part that hurt most was simple. They had looked at her face, heard her voice, and decided her discomfort did not matter. Before Elise left the aircraft, the captain approached her quietly. "Miss Monroe, we can arrange another flight immediately." Elise stood, holding the damaged bag carefully. "I don't need special treatment," she said. "I needed fair treatment." The captain lowered his eyes. Around them, passengers remained silent, some ashamed, some thoughtful, some still recording. Martin stood near the galley, smaller than before. Elise walked past him without triumph. Her footsteps were steady, but what happened next changed everything. Passengers began standing, one by one, not for her power, but for her dignity. At the jet bridge, Victor was still on the phone. "Do you want all contracts terminated permanently?" he asked. Elise looked back at the aircraft, then at the passengers watching through the doorway. "No," she said. "I want them retrained before they serve anyone else." Her voice was tired, but strong. That was the difference between revenge and change. EchoStory remembers moments like this because power can cancel contracts, but character decides what comes after. Respect isn't something you show when someone is powerful. It's something you show when you think they're not.